From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2337, this is Ham Nation Headlines for Wednesday, August 17th, 2022. Our top story this week was supposed to be a success story for India's new satellite launch vehicle, which had on board a small ham radio satellite built by school children. Unfortunately, something went wrong in its deployment.
Failure and disappointment marked the debut of India's small satellite launch vehicle, which lifted off Saturday, August 6, only to deploy 2 satellites into the wrong orbits. One of the satellites was a much-anticipated project built by 750 schoolgirls in India as part of Space Kids India. It carried an amateur radio payload. The Indian Space Agency said that the satellites were sent into an elliptical orbit instead of the intended circular orbit, 356 kilometres or 221 miles above Earth. The elliptical orbit meant that at some point the satellite's orbits would come as close to Earth as 76 kilometres or 47 miles. Officials from the ISRO said the error was caused by a sensor failure that could not be detected in time. 5 hours after liftoff, the mission was declared a failure. The maiden voyage of the launcher was a much celebrated event which also commemorated India's 75th year of independence. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Hams in one Pennsylvania club are celebrating a relationship with the Mars rover that began 10 years ago.
The Holmesburg Amateur Radio Club in Philadelphia decided to send its club call, WM3PEN, on a long vacation that would take 255 days to get there. They teamed up with NASA's Mars Science Laboratory rover Curiosity to visit Bradbury Landing on Mars. Since the landing, Curiosity and WM3PEN have traveled nearly 18 miles searching for the perfect location for the de-expedition. The folks at WM3PEN also thought it would be a good trip to team up with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, since they decided to make it a CW event. To help measure size and distance, the JPL engineers carved out the dots and dashes of the letters JPL on the tire treads. When asked what's next for the WM3 team, call sign trustee Bob Josewait, WA3PZO, said that after just coming off field day in the 13 Colony special event in June and July, it will be time to relax before planning the next adventure. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
There are 2 top winners sharing the glory in the first Ham Challenge competition of Region 1 of the International Amateur Radio Union.
The contest, which was introduced for the first time on April 30th, asked participants to propose game-changing ideas that would help grow the international amateur radio community. Nestor 5B4AHZ and Christian HP9FEU were chosen as first-place winners. Nestor's winning project was Ham Radio Escape Room, a virtual escape room inspired by the pandemic. Teams use radio instead of webcams to communicate. Christian's project was a public database of fun projects for innovation and technically orientated hobbyists. Many of the activities accommodated those with very little experience or available equipment. The third place winner was Luca, IU2FRL, and the youth prize went to Guy, ZS6GUY. Ham Challenge will return in 2023. This is Ed Durant, DD5LP.
And a final invitation to join Newsline on Saturday, August 20th in Alabama at the Huntsville Hamfest as we celebrate Audrey McElroy, KM4BUN, and present her with the 2022 Bill Pasternak Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award. If you can't be there in person, you can stream the entire Hamfest as it happens online via Tom Medlin's website, w5kub.com. We certainly hope to see you there. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Graham Kemp, VK4BB, Randy Sly, W4XJ, Ed Durant, DD5LP, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.